Hi.
Hi.
What number is this?
Number 6.
6.
6 for Rainy City Murders.
Yeah. We
Okay.
just finished number 5 for
Grim
Grim,
Geography.
yes, which was based in, we did one in West Virginia.
That's well
It wasn't the Skylar one. It was another interesting one. And what is so interesting about it is that Peyton here went to the University of West Virginia for a couple of years. And Ashley lived in Morgantown, Star City, where Skylar's murder took place.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said we were going to do one in West Virginia, I was kind of like, not the Skylar case because it's so heartbreaking.
It's also so famous.
Yes, we wanted to do something a little less famous, and we did. And it was the last guy that was executed in
West
Virginia back in the 50s. We went way back.
So I feel like we also have to acknowledge the elephant in the room on this podcast.
Her hair.
If you are watching the video, I'm aware my hair is yellow. It's
Yes,
the first
and
stage
her
of bleaching.
teeth are not yellow. We spent a lot of money getting aligners, and her teeth are white.
Yeah, so I'm aware my hair is yellow. It is the first.
She won't even let me turn the light on.
No, because it washes me out.
Yeah, so we don't even have the light on. It's so funny. Our dogs have finally calmed down.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So I'm aware of that.
Yes.
So we are going to 2009
Lakewood, Washington.
Mm-hmm. So just a brief one. In 2009, November 29, 2009? 29?
Yeah, I think so. It was
4 police officers were ambushed in a coffee shop in Lakewood.
Not a donut shop, a coffee shop.
A coffee shop, and they weren't even on duty. They hadn't even gone on duty yet. They were just there working on reports and stuff.
Yeah, they were on their laptops.
Killing time. We're going to do this a little different. Instead of doing the case first, we're actually going to talk about the perpetrator, because his background and history makes the shooting there makes more sense. It doesn't make sense in general, but why he did it.
Yes. Should he even have been out on the street?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Because there was also, because of this, there was a lot of political fallout.
Yes.
Not in Washington. It was not on us. It was on Arkansas. So we'll get into that because the governor was Mike Huckabee.
Oh.
So he had a lot to say when he was criticized for some of his decisions he made in response to Maurice Clemmons.
Okay.
So Maurice Clemmons was the perpetrator of the shooting.
We're not always going to talk about the person who committed it, because we don't want to glamorize the people that commit these crimes. We want to talk about the victims.
But yeah, this one you can't talk about the case without talking about him. So he was born February 6, 1972.
Do you hear how young he was?
Yeah, so 72, he died in 2009. And we'll get into what happened. So he was identified as the person who committed the murders of the 4 police officers prior to his involvement in the shooting. Because I don't want to get into what happened to him after the case. I want to wait. So prior to his involvement in that shooting, he had 5 felony convictions in Arkansas and 8 felony conviction charges in Washington.
5 in Arkansas first, and then 8 in Washington. Okay. Yeah. So, in other words, Arkansas should have locked him up and kept him.
And we'll get into that.
Okay.
Because he got out on a life sentence.
He had a life sentence, and Arkansas let him out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
His first incarceration began in 1989 at age 17.
Okay.
So, although his sentence...
That's an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Or what they consider an adult charge.
Yes. Let's do his early life and go that way.
Sure. Let's talk about his early life.
So, his father made frames for automobile seats in a Chrysler factory.
Okay, in Arkansas?
Yes.
Okay.
His mother, Dorothy Mae Clemmons, worked in a nursing home. He had 5 siblings. They lived in Marianna, Arkansas.
Okay.
That was his early youth, and then they moved to Little Rock as a teen.
Okay.
He was arrested when he was a junior at Hall High School for carrying a 25 caliber pistol on school property.
Oh, he's a winner.
He claimed to be carrying the gun because he was beaten by dopers and said he had something for them if they attacked him again.
Okay.
Clemmons eventually dropped out of high school his junior year. In 1989, a 17-year-old Clemmons and 2 other accomplices robbed a woman at midnight in the parking lot of a Little Rock hotel.
He was
Clemmons,
17.
him and 2
Okay.
other people. He pretended to have a gun in his pocket and threatened to shoot her if she did not give him her purse. When she responded, "Well, why don't you just shoot?" he punched her in the head and ran off with the purse, which contained $16 and a credit card. The court sentenced Clemmons to 35 years for the crime.
You got 35 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was 17.
Mhm.
Okay. So that should have taken him through this crime.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it gets better.
This is number 1.
Yep. Clemmons was accused multiple times of displaying violent behavior during court appearances. In one incident, he managed to dismantle a metal doorstop, hiding in his sock to use as a weapon. It was discovered and confiscated by a court bailiff. In another incident, he took a lock from his holding cell and threw it at a bailiff.
Oh, he's a winner.
But he missed, hitting his mother instead.
So he threw a lock,
At
tried to hit the bailiff, but hit his mother?
Yep.
And what'd she say? That's her son.
He was once accused of also reaching for a guard's pistol while being transported to court. During one trial, he was shackled in leg irons and seated next to a uniformed officer because the presiding judge had ordered extra security, claiming Clemmons had threatened him. So, mind you,
How old is he at this time? Still 17? Or has he gone on? Is he older?
no. So his charges were transferred from juvenile court to adult court due to the extremely violent nature of his crimes and his threatening demeanor. So he was tried as an adult.
Well, at 17, 16, I draw the line at like 14 and 15. At 16, it depends on what you do. 17 and 18, you're an adult. But they say that the brains don't fully function until they're like 25, 26.
Yeah. So mind you, 5 felony charges in Arkansas. That was him as a juvenile. That was only as a juvenile.
But he was still sentenced to life in prison.
He was sentenced to 108 years.
Okay.
For 8 felony charges because they tacked them on as adults.
Okay.
So that's from his teenage years. That's when he was a teenager. The total prison term stemmed from multiple sentences, some of which were concurrent to others, while others were consecutive.
Okay.
The heaviest sentence came in 1990 when he was given a 60-year prison term for breaking into an Arkansas state trooper's home and stealing $6,700 in property, including a gun.
If you're going to break into somebody's house, don't make it an Arkansas trooper. Come on, people.
So during his sentencing on the charges, a circuit judge told Clemmons that he had broken his mother's heart, to which he responded, "I have broken my own heart."
Who said that?
So a judge told Clemmons that he had broken his mother's heart, and Clemmons in response said, "I have broken my own heart."
Oh, God.
So in 1989, Clemmons was sentenced to 35 years in prison for his 1989 robbery in the parking lot of the Little Rock Hotel bar.
Okay.
Among his other sentences were 6 years for weapons possession based on his high school arrest and 8 years for burglary, theft, and probation violations in Pulaski County. He was ineligible for parole until at least 2015.
Okay.
So in 1999, having just served 10 years of his sentence, Clemmons filed a clemency appeal with Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee.
Oh, God.
In his petition, he noted that he came from a very good Christian family and was raised much better than my actions speak. He claimed he had just moved from Seattle to Arkansas. So that's the whole thing. It's like his backstory is like kind of all over the place. His claims are all over the place.
He never lived in Seattle.
Apparently he did.
When?
According to him, he did at some point in time as a teenager.
Okay.
And because he had no friends, he gave into peer pressure and fell in with the wrong crowd. So he was accepted by his peers, which led him to commit his crimes. Although he apologized for his actions, Clemmons also complained that he received overly harsh sentences. He also claimed to have changed and expressed regret that his mother had recently died without seeing him turn his life around.
Was his mother dead?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, at least that was true.
Clemmons' clemency application was actually supported by a Pulaski County Circuit Court judge, Marion Humphrey, who argued that the cumulative sentence was excessive and cited his young age at the time he committed the crimes. At 17, though, you should know right from wrong by that point.
You should.
Even though your brain isn't fully developed until 25, at 17 you know right from wrong.
Yes, you do.
You know it.
I mean, what point did you think that, oh, let me go rob a trooper's home, take their gun or a gun and money? I mean, is there a big sign on the door?
Right. So the decision was made over the objections of some victims and prosecutors involved in Clemmons' previous cases, but was also supported by the bipartisan parole board and the trial circuit judge in his case. So a county circuit judge, his actual judge, the parole board, all supported him being released.
Plus Huckabee.
Well, this was in his petition.
Okay.
So Mark Frazier, he was an attorney who prosecuted early cases in Clemmons and Pulaski County, argued Clemmons was extremely likely to commit further acts of violence in the future, and said for a teen to receive such a lengthy prison sentence without committing a murder, you got to be a bad little dude. He called him a bad little dude.
Oh my God.
That is probably my favorite name ever. So despite the arguments against, Huckabee granted his clemency on May 3rd, 2000. 108 years.
Down to 10.
Down to 10.
Oh, I'd love a sentence like that. Go commit all those crimes, get 108 years, and then only serve 10.
Yeah, so what they did, they commuted his sentence from 108 years to 47 years, 5 months, and 19 days, which made him eligible for parole that day.
And they granted him parole. With any probation? Or
we'll get into
Okay.
There's some stipulations, and he likewise ignored them. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
So, as a factor in his decision, Huckabee cited unusually long sentences for Clemmons' age at the time the crimes were committed. The Arkansas Parole Board unanimously approved Clemmons' release on July 13, 2000, and he was set free on August 1st.
Okay.
So, less than a year after his release, in March 2001, he violated parole by committing aggravated robbery and theft yet again in Oiacha County.
Okay.
He was convicted on July 13, 2001, and sentenced to 10 years in prison. He faced charges of parole violation, but due to problems with the case, he was not served with the charges until 2004.
Okay.
His attorney argued the parole violation charges should be dropped as much time had passed. Subsequently, those charges were dismissed. Clemmons was granted parole on the robbery charges in 2004. He told the parole board he was not ready for the first time he was released, but that he didn't want to die in prison and would try to do the right thing. Clemmons moved to Washington in 2004 while still on parole, which was approved by Arkansas authorities. That year,
they didn't want him.
That year, he married a woman named Nicole Smith. The Seattle Times later reported the relationship had been a roller coaster.
Yes.
I cannot speak. Some words.
Tumultuous.
Yes, thank you. He was placed under the supervision of the Washington Department of Corrections and classified as high risk to reoffend. He basically essentially became Washington's problem.
Yep.
His supervision was to continue until October 2005. He lived in Tacoma, where he ran a landscaping and power washing business out of his house. Over the next 5 years, Clemmons was able to purchase 6 houses, including 1 in Arkansas and 5 in Washington. That's pretty impressive, though.
Yeah.
I have to give that to him. So, following his parole in 2004, he had
Or he might have married well. His wife might have helped him.
Clemmons had no arrests or problems with the law until May 2009.
Okay.
So within that whole time, he did his parole. He did it, and he had no problems whatsoever.
Okay.
The Seattle Times noted 4 days in May 2009 as the time when Maurice Clemmons' behavior and mental state deteriorated.
Okay.
On May 9th, a Pierce County Sheriff's deputy responded to Clemmons' home after reports he was throwing rocks at houses, cars, and people. When the deputy tried to enter the house, one of Clemmons' cousins grabbed his wrist. After a struggle, Clemmons emerged from the house and punched the deputy in the face. Then assaulted a second deputy who had arrived to help.
He's losing his marbles.
Clemmons was placed under arrest and taken to Pierce County Jail, where he continued to struggle and told jail workers, "I'll kill you, all you bitches." He was charged with 2 felony assault charges and 2 felony malicious mischief charges, and released from jail the next day after posting a $40,000 bail bond without ever seeing a judge. They gave him bail without putting him in front of a judge, which I actually didn't know that was a thing here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I didn't know that was a thing here. So on May 11th, around 1 a.m., so this happened May 9th. This happened May. Yeah, so this happened May 9th. On May 11th, around 1 a.m., Clemmons appeared naked in his living room and ordered 2 female relatives, age 11 and 12, to fondle him. The 2 reportedly complied out of fear, and the 11-year-old fled the house afterwards. Clemmons took the 12-year-old into his bedroom along with his wife. He reportedly referred to himself as Jesus and said his wife was Eve. He released the 12-year-old after his wife begged him to let her go. However, around 4 a.m. that same morning, he gathered his family back in the living room and demanded they strip naked together.
I'm sitting here just in shock. I mean,
do you see why it was like we had to go through him first to get to the case?
Yeah.
Because it's there's a lot to him.
Yeah.
So he later left the house claiming the world was coming to an end, that he was going to fly to heaven.
Okay.
So,
maybe he should have, but okay.
I actually think he was. Okay, this is personal opinion. It sounds like an LSD trip.
It does. Or he just had a nervous breakdown, or
before anyone knew what a nervous breakdown was.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a breakdown, or it was a bad trip.
Yeah.
A family member called 911. Police found Clemmons at a nearby second house he was building for himself, but he fled on foot and escaped. Clemmons failed to appear the next day for an arraignment on his May 9th charges. Child Protective Services investigated and substantiated the sexual abuse complaint.
Yes. Okay.
Clemmons' sister told authorities he had undergone a change. It was not in his right mind.
Okay.
I would think not. Ordering your family to strip naked together.
Or having your
12-year-old
fondle you?
Yeah. And then only releasing the one from the bedroom after your wife made you. And he was Jesus and she was Eve. Don't forget that part. So Clemmons was arrested on July 1st, 2009, after he appeared in a Pierce County court trying to have his bench warrant thrown out. He was charged with second-degree rape of a child and with being a fugitive from Arkansas. At the time of his arrest, Clemmons made religiously themed comments and referred to himself as the Beast. He had told a police officer that then President Barack Obama and LeBron James were his brothers, and Oprah Winfrey was his sister.
Is he black?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Have you never seen what Maurice Clemmons looks like?
No, I'm sure I have.
Apparently, I don't have a picture of him anymore.
I'm sure I have.
He is black, yes.
Not that it matters.
No. Pierce County prosecutors asserted that Clemmons' recent crimes amounted to a violation of Clemmons' parole in Arkansas. So, mind you, apparently he was still on parole.
Yeah. And Arkansas didn't want him back.
No, because, and that he faced years in prisons if he returned to that state. However, Arkansas Department of Community Corrections notified Pierce County on July 22nd that they did not intend to ask for his extradition and that he should be adjudicated on his Washington charges. They were wiping their hands of him. Yeah. They had no interest in him.
They didn't want anything to do with him.
So, Stephen Penner, A deputy prosecuting attorney in Pierce County said of the Arkansas decision, "There's a built-in incentive to not following through. In a way, the more violent they are, the less you want them in your community."
Yeah.
So during a court ordered mental health evaluation, Clemmons told psychologists he had experienced hallucinations in 2009 of people drinking blood and people eating babies and lawless on the streets like people were cannibals.
Okay.
He claimed the visions had since passed. He also claimed to have no faith in the American justice system and thought he was being maliciously persecuted because I'm black and they believe the police. The evaluation, completed by 2 psychologists from the Western State Hospital on October 19th, concluded Clemmons was dangerous and presented an increased risk of future criminal acts, you would think.
I would think.
So Pierce County Judge John McCarthy set bail for Clemmons' assault charges at $40,000, considering considerably below the $100,000 prosecutors sought based on Clemmons' history of violence.
He posted it, didn't he?
Pierce County Judge Thomas Glenagle set bail for the child rape charges at $150,000, lower than the $200,000 sought by prosecutors, but higher than usual for the charges.
Okay.
I wouldn't
So
have
he
even
has
granted
one
him
for
bail.
$150,000 and one for $40,000.
I wouldn't have even granted him bail.
No.
But I know like they have stats that they have to like look at and everything. But he is highly
Dangerous
and a threat to the community and to himself. So I would hope.
Yeah, you'd think.
He would take that evaluation a little more seriously.
You'd think.
So after a mental evaluation, a psychologist concluded Clemmons was competent to stand trial on the charges, which eliminated him as a candidate for involuntary commitment.
Yes.
An attorney for Clemmons notified the court he planned to pursue an insanity or diminished capacity defense. On November 23, 2009, Clemmons paid $15,000 for a $190,000 bail bond to secure his release.
Yeah, it's a cash. I mean, I assume everybody knows how bail works.
Yeah, but what's funny, 2 other bond bail agencies had earlier rejected his bond request based on his history of failing to appear in court.
Yeah,
just have to find the one.
You have to pay 10%. But you have to have collateral.
Mm-hmm. So this brings us to our case that we initially started, Lakewood.
Yes.
So on the morning of Sunday, November 29, 2009, the four officers were working on their laptops at a Forza Coffee Company coffee shop. It has now been renamed to Blue Steel Coffee. So prior to the start of their shift in nearby parkland next to McCord Air Force Base.
Yes.
All 4 were armed and in full uniform, wearing bulletproof vests. Clemmons drove a white pickup truck to getaway driver Darkis Allen's home. Allen then drove Clemmons past the coffee shop. After they saw marked police patrol cars in the parking lot, Allen drove Clemmons back past the coffee shop and parked nearby. Allen stayed behind and kept the truck running, while Clemmons exited the vehicle and made his way towards the coffee shop.
Yes.
So at approximately 8:15 a.m., Clemmons entered the coffee shop, approached the counter, and turned towards the 4 seated officers. Without saying a word, Clemmons drew a Glock 17 9mm handgun and opened fire. Clemmons also was carrying an legally obtained Smith & Wesson 38 caliber revolver, because Clemmons was legally barred from possessing any weapon in Washington State due to prior felony conviction.
Yes, if you're a felon, you can't have a gun, even whether it's registered or not.
Unless you petition the court.
And they'll give you your rights back.
Because I think it depends on what the charges were.
Yes.
4 officers. Officer Tina Griswold and Sergeant Mark Renninger were first. They were both shot in the head and killed instantly, while they still remained seated.
Yes.
In the aftermath, it was revealed that the 4 officers had hardly any time to react to the violent attack. The shooting was considered an ambush.
Yes.
So Officer Ronald Owens was fatally shot in the neck as he stood up attempting to draw his weapon. Clemmons then fired upon Officer Greg Richards, striking him in the head. Before Richards succumbed to his mortal head wound, he was able to draw his weapon and return fire.
Yes.
Richards' bullet struck Clemmons in the abdomen. A wounded and bleeding Clemmons stole the dying Richards' Glock 40 Smith & Wesson service weapon. So Clemmons fled the scene, stepping over the slain officers and leaving behind a trail of blood and DNA evidence. I always wondered, what was the reaction from the people who worked at the coffee shop?
Or who were in there.
Because, I was never able to really find anything about that.
Yeah. I don't know if they name them or they don't.
I don't think they would.
Yeah, because of, the
situation.
Yeah.
So investigators later utilized the DNA left behind, among other pieces of evidence, including the shop's recorded video surveillance footage and eyewitness testimony, and to link Clemmons to the murders.
How did they figure out who was the getaway driver?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Because there was 5 accomplices that were charged in this case, too.
I didn't realize there was that many.
Mm-hmm. So shortly after the shooting, Clemmons was observed exiting the coffee shop, jogging down the block, and entering through the passenger side door of a white pickup truck parked a short distance from the coffee shop.
Okay.
The getaway vehicle quickly sped away from the scene and was presumably driven by his accomplice, Darkus Allen.
Okay.
So investigators stated the murders were an attack against police officers in general, since none of the 4 officers had ever dealt personally with Clemmons.
Okay.
So none of the officers were individually targeted, as Clemmons shot at all 4 officers indiscriminately. Yes, thank you. Robbery was quickly ruled out as a motive, as Clemmons stole a single service weapon from one of the 4 officers. But it was believed he did it so as a means to further commit later attacks against other members of law enforcement. So in the aftermath, the November 29, 2009 attack, criminal profiles revealed Clemmons' modus operandi was to simply kill as many police officers as he could, and it was believed Clemmons planned and intended to violently target more officers in the days following the initial Lakewood shooting.
Yeah.
The Lakewood shooting was both the second deadliest attack on law enforcement in the United States since March 21st, 2004, fatal shooting of 4 Oakland, California police officers, as well as the second deadliest on law enforcement in a single incident by a single gunman. And do you know that they were the first officers to ever be killed in the line of duty for the Lakewood Police Department, because it was only established in 2004.
Yeah.
Allen.
Before that, it was Pierce County. It was an unincorporated Pierce County.
Mm-hmm. Allen later told detectives that he stopped at an intersection and abandoned Clemmons and the truck, claiming he wanted no part of this.
Oh.
But police found no evidence Allen had actually abandoned the truck.
So where did he take Alan? I mean, where did they take Alan? Dump him off at the doctor's office, or?
You mean,
Maurice Clemmons.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
So after and following the shooting, Pierce County sheriffs identified Maurice Clemmons as a suspected murderer, saying that he had a long, violent criminal history in Arkansas and Washington. Police confirmed that Clemmons had been shot in the abdomen during the attack and advised hospitals to be aware.
Yeah.
So in the late evening hours of November 29th, Seattle police believed they had Clemmons surrounded in a home in the Leschi, Leschi. Leschi? I've never even heard of this area. Leschi area of Seattle, with air support provided by King County Sheriff's Office, SWAT teams from the King County Sheriff's Office, Seattle Police Department, Tacoma Police Department, and other agencies entered the home.
They weren't screwing around.
Home after a 12-hour standoff.
And the guy's still bleeding.
But they found no one inside. So earlier in the day, Tacoma police served a search warrant on a Tacoma home belonging to a person of interest and collected evidence. An intense manhunt ensued, and police from agencies in Pierce and King counties conducted searches at the University of Washington campus, Rizal Park, and in Renton without success. Acting on a tip, King County Sheriff's deputies and Washington State Patrol troopers were also conducting surveillance and going door to door at Snoqualmie Pass area homes, which is 50 miles east of Seattle.
Yeah.
So after hours of investigating, the search was called off. The tip had been of thousands received by local law enforcement agencies. The police were offering a $145,000 reward for information leading to his arrest.
I'd hang his ass out there for
Right?
$145,000.
So he invaded police for 2 days. He was located
And was
on.
he bleeding this whole time?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It gets pretty good. They actually tell you exactly what happened.
Okay.
So he was finally located on December 1st. He was shot and killed by a police officer in Seattle. Did you know that?
No, but I knew he had been shot and killed.
So it was in Seattle. So at around 2:45 a.m. on December 1st, police officer Benjamin L. Kelly was on patrol in the Brighton neighborhood of South Seattle and Rainier Valley.
Okay.
Which I'm not that surprised by that.
No, not at all.
He came upon a 1990 Acura Integra parked on the street at 44th Place South and South Canyon Street. It was empty, but the hood was raised and the engine running. He ran the vehicle's license plate number and determined that it had been stolen about 2 hours earlier. While sitting in his patrol car to report the stolen vehicle, Kelly noticed a man matching Clemmons' description approaching him from behind, walking first on the sidewalk and then in the middle of the street. Police accounts state that Kelly confronted Clemmons and ordered him to stop and show his hands, but Clemmons began to flee around the disabled vehicle and reportedly reached into his waist area and moved as Kelly was drawing his sidearm. Kelly fired 3 shots at Clemmons, followed by another 4 shots as the suspect ran away and a dead sprint, and struck him at least twice. So Clemmons reached the sidewalk and collapsed face down in a walkway leading to a home on Canyon Street. Kelly retreated behind his patrol car, retrieved his shotgun, and called for backup. Within moments, Seattle police came to the scene. A team of officers approached the suspect, handcuffed him, and took him away from the home. Seattle Fire Department medics responded and pronounced the suspect dead at the scene.
Oh, well.
Clemmons was carrying a handgun identified as having belonged to a slain officer in the Lakewood shooting. So that was the handgun. He also had a bullet wound to his abdomen sustained during the shooting in Parkland, which had been stuffed with cotton and gauze and sealed with duct tape.
I guess that's your way to...
It's a surefire way to do it.
Yeah. Duct tape for everything.
So all 4 officers had been with the Lakewood Department since the beginning of 2004. You had Sergeant Mark Renninger. He was 39. He was 13 years in law enforcement since 1996. He died from the gunshot wound to the head. You have Officer Ronald Owens, 37, 12 years in law enforcement since 97. He was from Puyallup, and he died from gunshot wound to the neck. Officer Tina Griswold, he was 40, 14 years of law enforcement since 95, died from a gunshot wound to the head. So Officer Greg Richards, 42, he's spent 8 years of law enforcement experience. He's had 8 years of law enforcement experience since 2001. He was from Graham. He died from a gunshot wound to the head. Kind of interesting. This is just a little side note. I actually didn't know about this. So, immediately following the shootings, Lakewood Police Department, the Independent Guild set up a memorial fund for the officers. So, as of 2012, about $3.2 million were donated to the fund. And in March 2012, Lakewood police officer Skeeter Timothy Manos pleaded guilty to charges of stealing from the account using funds for his personal use. That was just a little side fact.
That's wrong.
Federal authorities determined, ran their tests and everything on the weapons and trying to trace them. So what they determined was the 9mm Glock Model 17 was a Smith & Wesson 30 and the 38 Smith & Wesson 38 caliber revolver Clemmons brought to the scene. Was that the Glock was purchased in June 2005 at a Renton pawn shop. The purchaser reported the gun stolen in March 2006. This was after his car had been broken into at a downtown Seattle parking garage at 2nd Avenue and James Street. Which, yeah, don't leave valuables in downtown.
Yeah, don't leave your gun in the car.
So, and then the Smith & Wesson revolver was shipped in 1981 to a now closed Police Arms and Citizen Supply in Lakewood, Colorado. But no additional details were found. So, like I said, there was accomplices in this. And all of them were charged.
Were they convicted?
It's kind of a very interesting. So we're at the trials.
Yes.
Of his accomplices.
Yes.
So
the getaway driver, and
There's 5.
there's 5 accomplices.
So one accomplice has been convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison, while 4 were convicted of rendering criminal assistance, including getaway driver Darkhel's Allen.
Okay.
And they had their convictions reversed on appeal.
Are you kidding me?
So the trials of the accomplices to this crime were marred by prosecutorial misconduct, with many reversals and rebukes from higher courts. By December 2nd, 2009, 6 individuals were arrested. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 individuals
Okay.
were arrested and charged with providing assistance to Clemmons before and after the shooting.
Okay. So he had a getaway driver that was there. And it was reversed?
Some of these convictions were reversed.
Okay.
So 5 were accused of providing such assistance to Clemmons as transporting him to several locations, providing him with money and cell phones, making arrangements for him to flee the state, and treating the gunshot wound from the Lakewood shooting.
Yes, because he was shot.
All with full knowledge of the crime he had committed.
Okay. So he had shot 4 cops dead. He had gotten shot himself by the 4th cop. So he had escaped with his getaway driver. And these people gave him money,
Cell phones, treatment,
everything. That even though they knew what he had done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So in June 2010, his sister was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment for acting as one of the getaway drivers. She was helping transport him.
Wow.
In December 2010, 3 of the 4 other suspects were convicted.
So were all 6 convicted? Or just 4 out of the 6?
Each of them were convicted for different things.
Okay.
I'm going through the list.
Okay.
So January 14th, 2011, Pierce County Superior Court Judge Stephanie R.N. sentenced accomplices Eddie Lee Davis to 10 years, 5 months, Douglas Edward Davis to 7 years, 6 months, and Latricia Nelson to 6 years, 2 months in state prison. 1 defendant was acquitted of all charges.
Okay. So now we're looking at 5 defendants. Okay.
All of the 3 convictions and sentences that I just listed were reversed by the Washington Supreme Court in appeals of 2013 and 2014 due to prosecutor misconduct in the original trials.
Okay. Were they retried? No. So they went to jail and then it was reversed.
Uh-huh. So Darkest Allen has been in and out of the courts because of this crime.
Yes.
All the way up until recently in 2023.
Okay, but he's the actual getaway driver from the scene.
That claimed that he had abandoned the truck and Clemmons.
Yes, but I guess it must have been proven that he didn't do that.
So in May 2011, he was a remaining suspect, was convicted of 4 counts of murder as the getaway driver for Clemmons, and sentenced to 420 years in prison the following month.
Okay.
So here, especially in the state of Washington, I know some states are different, some states are the same. If you're the getaway driver in a murder, you will be sentenced just as harshly as the actual murder.
If and you're especially part of the felony, yeah.
Well, especially in this case where the main shooter is dead.
Yes.
They're going to go after the next person.
Yes.
Which is him.
Yeah.
So in January 2015, Washington Supreme Court overturned his conviction and ordered a new trial.
Okay, and I assume they retried him.
Citing prosecutor misconduct.
Okay, our
prosecutors aren't normally that bad.
Yeah, they usually aren't that bad, but I know here in King County, which is just north of Pierce County, I have heard personally that there are some that are.
Yeah. So, after being convicted in the retrial and sentence, his sentence was once again reversed on appeal.
Okay.
So now we're at 2.
So he's been tried twice.
The High Court ruled that Allen was acquitted of aggravated murder at his second charge and cannot be retried for retried for aggravated murder. So they tried double jeopardy with him.
Oh.
So in response, the prosecutor's office retried him for first-degree murder.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they were trying to get away with,
Allen maintains that he did not know Clemmons intended to commit a crime and believes he has been a scapegoat for the public anguish and outrage evoked by the murders.
Okay.
So
he goes in there. He knows he has guns on him. He hears a shooting.
And they literally drove up past the coffee shop, saw the patrol cars, flipped around, came
parked. He waited there with the engine running. The guy came running back with guns. He had guns on him, bleeding out with the gunshot wound. And he tells his friend to take off. And the guy didn't know what was going on.
Yep.
Bullshit. Yep. I call bullshit.
So after the second trial, the jury reported to the judge that they were unable to reach a verdict. The judge declared a mistrial on November 10th, 2022.
Okay, so this all happened in what year?
So he was acquitted in January 2015. This all happened between 2015 and 2022.
Okay, so the guy is serving prison time. He is not out on bail because they're not letting him out on bail.
Well, in 2022, they declared a mistrial. They have to release him.
No, he can be stuck in prison. They're gonna.
I don't think in this case he can be because of how many times he has been retried and all that.
Okay.
There might be circumstances that prevent that.
Yeah, I think if they're gonna retry him, he's still in prison. But
no, he's out. He's out.
Oh my God.
Because in April 2023, he pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit second-degree murder and was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Which he had already served.
He was immediately released after receiving credit for time served due to him already spending over 13 years in prison.
Yes.
And that is where the case is today. It's over. They all served their time. They've all had their convictions overturned. Allen's already out.
So 4 police officers lost their lives and nobody is serving time.
No, they already.
The shooter died.
And the getaway driver
got served 13 years.
Over 13 years, but only was technically convicted for 10.
Yeah.
Because of a plea deal.
And everybody else who helped him
got 5 years or their convictions were completely overturned.
I guess it's okay to kill 4 police officers. I mean, I'm not even joking. I think that's horrible. No wonder people were pissed about this.
I remember seeing something back in 2023 about this. I just did not realize what it actually was.
I'm in shock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in absolute shock.
Mm-hmm. But that is where the case rests today. I didn't realize it continued until 2023.
And of course, the gunman didn't serve any time. He's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I wonder, suicide by cop. I mean, I would much rather him.
He wasn't even trying to commit suicide by cop.
No.
He was literally trying to get away and escape.
Wow is all I can say. I'm just in shock. I'm in shock.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to that? Oh, I definitely want to hear your comments on this.
Oh, definitely. Especially because this is still one of the most deadliest officer-involved shootings. It was only surpassed by the one that happened in Dallas a few years ago.
Yeah. This is 4 officers
that were ambushed.
That were sitting in a coffee shop, a cafe, doing their paperwork, and they were gunned down.
They were ambushed. They didn't even have a chance.
I know. They were totally ambushed. People talk about the police. I know that. I get that. Whatever. But these cops, they didn't deserve this.
No.
They didn't deserve this at all.
No, they did not.
Yeah.
But I am curious about what everyone thinks.
Oh, yeah. Please let us know. Because, everybody has a view on the police. But, they didn't deserve this.
No.
And think about the families they left behind and their loved ones, their kids, everything. it's dangerous to be a police officer, but you don't think you're going to get shot in a cafe
No,
just doing your paperwork.
no. And he literally went after police officers that had no dealings with him
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it wasn't the police officers that had arrested him or anything like that. They was just police
Mm-hmm.
officers. So, when you've made an enemy,
Mm-hmm.
but here he didn't even make an enemy. They
No.
hadn't made an enemy. They didn't know that their lives were in danger.
No. They had no idea.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So I definitely want to hear what you have to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely about this one.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Are we done with today?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So I realized as I was editing Lakewood,
That we don't have the updates.
We did not do the aftermath
Yes.
like we should have, because there was a lot of political fallout in the aftermath of this.
Yes.
Mostly for Arkansas's governor, Mike Huckabee.
Yes. Who should never let the guy go.
And it's so funny. He refuses to take any accountability in this.
Well, does that surprise you?
No, because he doesn't take accountability for anything.
No.
So
Is he still governor there?
I can't remember. He's something. I know he was a presidential. He ran in the presidential election in 2012. That's kind of all I remember him doing. He isn't really on my radar anymore.
No.
So he was widely criticized. Sorry, he was widely criticized for having commuted Clemmons' sentence and releasing him in 2000.
Yeah, think.
So the evening of the shooting, he held a press conference and released a statement noting the roles of the parole board that freed him and the criminal justice system, which Huckabee said had repeatedly failed to properly handle Clemmons. So he said, should he be found to be responsible for this horrible tragedy?
Should he be found?
He said, should he be found to be responsible for this horrible tragedy, it will be the result of a series of failures in the criminal justice system in both Arkansas and Washington state. So he was considered a favorite for the Republican Party presidential nomination in 2012, which I vaguely remember.
Yeah, you weren't all that old.
I mean, I was in high school. I had just gone to high school because I voted in the next presidential election.
Yes.
He claimed that the situation was used as a political weapon against him.
Yeah, think.
So Clemmons has been compared to Willie Horton. He was a convicted felon who was furloughed from a Massachusetts prison in 1986, but never returned and committed more violent crimes several months later. So
put him in jail, throw away the key, and leave him there.
So the Horton case eventually factored into the 1988 presidential campaign. A Democratic Party candidate, Michael Dukakis, is that okay? Who was governor of Massachusetts at the time and supported the furlough program. Timothy Egan, he was an opinion writer for the New York Times, said of Huckabee's role in Clemmons' release, if this case does not sink the presidential aspirations of Huckabee, it should.
Yes, it did.
So, Jonathan Martin of the Seattle Times, he wrote a book called The Other Side of Mercy, which was about the shooting. It's a fantastic, well-researched book, so I highly recommend it.
Yes.
He wrote that Huckabee apparently failed to review Clemmons' prison file, which was thick with acts of violence and absent indications of rehabilitation. Martin also suggested that Huckabee failed to ensure Clemmons' post-release plan was solid or even factual. In an article for the Times, Martin wrote that if Huckabee was serious about running for president in 2016, he'll have to answer his Maurice Clemmons problems.
Did he?
No.
I didn't think so.
So some university professors, criminologists, and attorneys speculated that U.S. governors will become more reluctant to grant pardons and clemencies to convicted felons in order to avoid the negative publicity faced by Dukakis and Huckabee in the Horton and Clemmons cases, respectively. Which they did. It's very rare now to hear about a pardon.
Yeah, I understand on white-collar crimes.
Oh, totally.
So we have what going right now, P. Diddy, whatever you want to call him at this point, they're saying that he may actually get pardoned from Trump.
Trump has said actually he wrote to have him pardoned before his case even went to trial.
Yeah, but I mean, why should he get pardoned? The newest thing is his lawyers are saying that he almost got shanked in prison.
Yeah.
But
well, apparently he is supposed to serve. He's supposed to serve in one of the worst prisons in America, which
oh wow.
He's asking to serve at Fort Dix, which is a
cupcake,
essentially.
Yeah. Why should he get special treatment just because of who he is? Okay, we're going off subject.
Yeah.
So, Huckabee, I don't know if he's still the governor.
I think he's in the cabinet now. I think he actually has a role in the government still. Hold on. I don't like Mike Huckabee, which I think everyone can tell. I'm very...
And I'm wearing, if everybody doesn't notice, LA Dodgers shirts. Come on, Dodgers.
Big Dodgers fan.
Big Dodger fans.
So he is currently serving as the 29th United States ambassador to Israel since apparently 2025. He just got promoted to that position.
Wow.
He is not who I would put there at all.
No, would I.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of opinions.
But it's our opinion.
Oh, so apparently his daughter is currently the governor of Arkansas since 2023, and apparently she was a former White House press secretary, which I actually didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
So that's why we think there's a Huckabee still in office in Arkansas.
Yeah, so apparently he ran in 2008 and in 2016, of course, but he ended up he won the 2008 Iowa Republican caucuses and finished second in delegate count and third in both popular vote and number of states won, behind John McCain and Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
And then he ran again for the Republican nomination in the 2016 presidential election, but withdrew early in the primary following the Iowa caucus. He is not a very popular man.
No, he's not.
So that is currently what is going on with Mike Huckabee. And I realized, that it might not seem important to a lot of people, but, it's kind of important to address the fact that this man truly took no accountability for his role in any of this.
I know, and that's crazy. 4 police officers are dead.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if their families feel this way.
Probably.
Yeah, I would love to know.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, well, that's the update on Mike Huckabee.
Yeah, which I can now add in and record.
And
edit. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, we're on to our next episode.